Good afternoon, everybody. Today we are going to talk about fear just before actually the holidays and the new year, facing the new year. I was about to talk about fear and success and how our fear is actually one of the biggest milestones on our way to success. I spoke to a friend yesterday and she was mentioning her financial situation and how her biggest fear is not having enough money to pay her bills, and how she's facing this reality for 3 years right now. How whatever she's doing, whatever project she's taking, they're constantly putting her in the situation of lacking the money and creating that fear to grow. So I was talking to her and we realized that she did create very, very strong beliefs at some point in her life when she was in difficult situation. And these beliefs were so strong that she really had a hard time changing them. She says that she's meditating and she's been doing all different kind of things to rewire her brain, but she was not feeling better and her thoughts were still about fear. And so I asked her if she's doing her meditation or her appreciation and everything, that's maybe let's say 30 minutes up to an hour a day. So what does it mean that 23 hours a day almost her dominant vibration is fear? So her dominant vibration of fear is so strong that there is no way that she can with 1 hour of exercise overcome that. So her thinking was literally creating her environment and her reality. And in our conversation, she said so many times, I cannot overcome that. And I've been trying, but I didn't. And I still can't overcome. And every time I receive a bill, I'm scared to open it because I know I probably won't be able to pay that. Well, I've been in that situation when I got through my divorce, and I was actually in a situation that my biggest fear was opening my bills whenever they would come in the mail. Any kind of bill I would receive, I would literally put them on the side and I would be scared to open them because I knew that there is no way I can pay them. So I would even I would have a panic attack in the middle of the night, 3-4 o'clock in the morning, and I would take the phone and I would call the father of my kids screaming because I would wake up and I would be thinking for 30 minutes maybe, creating horror story in my own head about how I don't have money and then what's going to happen and then what is going to happen after that's going to happen. So that would come so far that I would literally take the phone, call him and scream at him at 3-4 o'clock in the morning. That one day when I did that, I realized that this is it. I'm not doing this to myself. This was my wake-up call because I realized that this is my thoughts talking. It's not, that was my reality because I created it. So I was creating a vision of me not having money, not being able to pay. And these thoughts would really drive me crazy at the time. So did they serve me? Never, in any moment. And then the outcome was always the same, that I would figure out the way to pay that, either one or the other way. So the fear that we have, regardless what is the fear, if that is the dominant vibration that we are actually having, this is what we're going to face in our reality. This is what is going to be our everyday life. So we have to learn to reprogram our brain. And again, we are coming back to small steps, one at a time, changing our brain and changing the way we see the everyday life. So we have to find the methods that work for us. I already mentioned that when I would receive a bill and somebody told me, well, try to pretend that it's a check. And then I would open the bill and I would be like, oh my God, I received a check. And that would literally last 2 minutes because I would be like, this is not working for me because I cannot pretend this way. So I could not align myself with the belief that this is a check. I kind of still knew that this is a bill that I have to pay eventually. So I mentioned already that I started and then the other method saying, wouldn't it be nice if I pay all this? Wouldn't it be nice that I have so much money to pay that? Wouldn't it be nice for all different things in my life? And that somehow worked because I would not have to think about something that's maybe impossible. I was just imagining, wouldn't it be nice? So slowly, by saying every day, my brain somehow started believing in that. Repetition is like the way that we can rewire our brain, and we can actually start seeing things differently. The scientists have proven that they took two groups of people, and they had like 5 months, both groups, twice a day practicing piano lessons. And some of them were practicing piano lessons like really physically, and the other group was practicing piano lessons actually just visualizing the way to play. And when they were doing the brain scan at the end of the 5 months, it was very surprising for everybody that both brains of both groups were actually having the same results. They were both wired the same way, and both group of people would be able to actually play the piano. So that really tells us that our brain needs repetition with the certain things, so actually that we rewire it and we see the things differently. So what are we doing every day when we wake up? Like, if we are creating the fears, and then we, like, with the thoughts that we have, then we wake up, we take our phones, we have the coffee, or we have the coffee the same place, we go to the work, we see the same kind of people. So we create these habits, and every day is the same. We are not going out, and then we are not even thinking in our head the different way. So everything is turning in the circles. So every day is pretty much the same, and our thoughts are actually being the same until the moment we're going to decide, does this thought doing me good? Is this really helping me out? And then we kind of really, really have to understand that the only fear that we have is the imagination. We are imagining the scenario that we don't want to happen. So it is very complex, because especially if we have actually like beliefs that they are like, okay, I cannot get rid of my fear. Like a friend of mine, she was yesterday saying, I cannot get rid of my fear. I'm trying, and it's still there. So again, she is focusing on her fears. So her dominant vibration is fear. So our focus is what creates, and our focus is the energy. And if that energy is so strong towards the fear is going to become like even stronger. So remember, whatever you focus on, it's you're facing in your reality. So rehearsing the situations in your head that you want to happen. If you get a bill and you know that you can't pay that, rehearsing the story in your head that they're gonna cut your electricity, or I don't know what's gonna happen because of that. You are imagining, because maybe that's not gonna happen ever. Like as a mother, and I'm sure that a lot of mothers would have the same opinion, the worst thing that we can think of is if something happened to our kids. But these are the scenarios that we are creating that might never happen. So why do we want to scare ourselves? What if you take your kid and they ask you, okay, I have this and this situation, what can you help me? Would you ever say to your kid, oh my God, this is horrible, who knows what's going to happen, this is the worst thing, oh my God? Don't scare yourself either. If you wouldn't scare your friend, if you wouldn't scare your kid, don't scare yourself, because like, you have to be your own best friend. The mirror work is something that is also tremendously helping not only me, so many like people around the world. Stand in front of the mirror, look yourself deep in the eyes, and repeat very loud, I love you. Repeat whatever you want to happen in your reality. Repeat, I'm capable of paying my bills. I'm capable of having that kind of job. I'm like, find the methods that they are helping you out. Either you meditate, but you have to do some action. You have to move that vibration higher, so it actually you face that in your reality. So we are always coming back to the same thing. What is our thought? What reality does it create? And how we can actually like stop that from happening and go back and say, okay, like the moment you're going to notice that this thought is not helping and say, okay, stop, I'm going to think about something else. Try to do something in that moment that's going to change your, like, just find that happy thought in that second. Find your gratitude, find your, whatever you can do to change that moment. That's actually, because if you stay for that, long enough that take over, it's going to be harder after. So start the first next time when this happened, that you feel fear about something, try to stop it right away and to say, okay, is this serving me? Is this creating the reality that I want? And then say, okay, I'm going to try to switch it. So first time you're going to notice, second time, third time, you're going to see it's going to become your habit, that every thought that you have that creates fear, you're going to stop it because before it actually creates fear. So what is that fear doing to you? It's stopping you from your future successes. So success, that also because we live in a very competitive world, and we are all scared about different failures, and everybody is competing with everybody. So what is really success? Now that we are coming into 2019 and we are leaving the 2018 behind us, what is your your ideas about 2019? What are your goals? What are your dreams? What are your plans? Are you still feeling the fear that you felt all your life because of the limited beliefs you have about something? Are you stopping yourself from the success that you can have in your life? Think about that right now, because define success for yourself. Define what is success for you. I live in I work in very competitive environment, and the question that I often ask my co-workers is who are you competing with? Aren't we supposed to collaborate? Aren't we supposed to be the collaborators and help each other? Why people are constantly competing? And they are, instead of how they say the winner always focus on the goal, and the losers are focusing on the winners, and that's why they're losing. So people, what is your ideal form of success? For me, success is having the perfect balance between my family life, my financial situation, my family time, my work time. That is for me the perfect success. For somebody else is having maybe the house on the beach right now, or having millions in the bank account. So you see, we all have different vision, different definition of success. So how can we be competitors to each other? If my form of success, if my definition of success is completely different than yours, how can you compete with me? We don't compete in the same race. Think about that before you step in 2019 and set up the goals that you maybe think, oh my God, I'm never going to achieve it, or I will. Let these fears go. The fears are stopping you from creating your life, from living the magical life, from living the happy life. And they are also stopping you from that success that in your head you think that I'm never going to succeed because I'm scared of failure. What is the failure? It's a lesson you're going to learn. So I really want every single one of you in 2019 to try to think about the words that you're using. What is the dominant vibration you're bringing to everyday life? What is the vibration that you have towards your future? Create a map for 2019. Create a map that you're gonna follow, and if something happened and if it's not working, change the map. Don't get stuck to something and then try to play with life. Play with the everyday, play with the creations. Imagine that you're a creator, understand that your thought causing the fear that's not serving you. You're creating the scenario that might never happen. So think about that consciously, providing yourself safe place to be. Being with yourself should be the safest place for you. Being with yourself, sitting alone with your thoughts, should be the safest place. When I stayed alone first, I realized that the person I knew at least was myself. I could not sit alone with myself for 10 minutes because I'm oh my God, what am I going to do? I was thinking crazy thoughts. I didn't know what to do. I didn't feel comfortable. And I realized, well, God, I can sit with a friend and talk. Why I can't sit with myself? So find your inner self, find your inner peace, find your definition of success for 2019 and follow that. Don't look at your colleagues, at your co-workers, at the people around you. They have their own life. They have their own energy. They have their vibration around them, so they're attracting or allowing different kind of clients and people in their life. So they cannot be your competition because you yourself, your energy is gonna work with different kind of clientele. So in the crazy world of everybody's competing with each other, focus on yourself. Focus to be the better person today that you were yesterday. Focus that you are judging less that you judged yesterday. That you stop judging people to understand that everybody is doing stuff with their own reasons. You cannot understand that. So for 2019, for the holiday season, just be love. Think from the vibration of love. Look with the eyes of love. Stop competing with the people around you. Compete with your own self. And if you are not today the better person that you were tomorrow, this is what you have to change tomorrow. I want to be the better version, the best version of myself. I want to be the best version of myself so I can be a better mother. I can be better wife, better friend, better whatever, better daughter, whatever. But you have to start with yourself. The change have to start within you. So become fearless and realize that the success is just the way that you think and that you define your own success. So have a great holidays. Have an amazing week, and Merry Christmas, everybody. And we're gonna talk again soon. And until then, be love and be the best version of yourself.